please do not buy any pets for your kids or somebody else's kids this Christmas. Not this one. Not this one either. Nope, not even one this cute. And definitely not one of these. And for the love of God, please do not get one like him. Hey, what's up guys, it's Mike with Alpha Reptiles, back with another video today. And today I'm going to be covering why you should not be buying a pet for Christmas, and as well as some alternatives to get them instead. Now, a slight disclaimer before we get into the video: if this video is more geared towards people that are like buying a whim gift or gifting it to somebody that doesn't know they're getting an animal, that is something that we're going to try and avoid. So for those of you that have been planning to get an animal, whether it be a reptile or a mammal of some kind, then this video really won't apply to you, but stick around anyway. So with that little shindig out of the way, why don't we get into reasons why you should not be getting an animal for Christmas, especially if it's a surprise or a gift to somebody else. The first reason is really geared towards families, like parents getting an animal for their kids to take care of and make it be their new responsibility. Newsflash, and those parents that have done this before know what I'm talking about. Kids aren't that responsible. I know I wasn't when I was a kid. Heck, even still now, some might argue that I'm not. But, sorry, back on track. We're not talking about me here. You, the parents, need to be the ones responsible and knowledgeable enough to take care of this new animal that you're bringing into the house. I see it all the time in the pet stores that I work at, where parents will come in and say, oh, little Jimmy wants a leopard gecko, and it's their responsibility. They have to make sure they're doing everything. No. As a parent, you can't do that. Maybe you want to teach them a little bit of responsibility. Get sea monkeys, get a pet rock, get something that isn't going to be living A for 15, 20 plus years, and B is something that really doesn't need that much responsibility. Because inevitably, your kids will lose interest in this new animal. Yeah, sure, a dog is cute, but they're not going to be the ones that are taking it out for a walk every night or cleaning up in the backyard if your kid is a little kid. And in the case of my hobby and reptile keeping, your kid is not going to be the one dealing with 5% bleach solution scrubbing out a tank. I think you guys kind of see the point. It might be like a lesson in responsibility, but it's really not fair ethically to the animal that you could be potentially letting suffer, or your kids might be letting suffer and you don't do anything about it. It's just something that you really want to make sure you try and avoid. I know that some parents might get offended at that like, oh, my kid's super responsible. And if that's your kid, great. Like, go for it. But really take some time to think and figure out, like, maybe that's not the best idea I've ever had. In addition to responsibility, animals are a huge cost. Reptiles, maybe not so much as some of the other animals and mammals that are out there. Like, I know things like a leopard gecko, while it might have a moderate to sizable, depending on the size cage that you have, kind of barrier to entry or initial costs, it's really quite cheap to maintain over the course of time. You have a heat pad, a UVB bulb, and roughly $25 in crickets a month. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on where you are. But in general, taking care of a leopard gecko, for example, is about, I'm gonna say, $50 a month. Now, on the flip side to that, things like dogs and kittens and some of the other mammals out there have a much higher cost per year or annual cost that is associated with them. These numbers I saw on a couple different websites, including the American Kennel Club, which said that raising a medium-sized dog is about $2,800 to $3,000 a year. That's quite expensive. For larger dogs, it was more towards like the $3,500 range, and for smaller dogs, it was like $2,200. Still a significant amount of money for somebody that's not expecting to have a pet, and all of a sudden, oh, this little cute fluff ball shows up on their doorstep and now they have to take care of it. So yeah, the cost associated with raising animals is real, it is a thing, and not everybody can afford it, whether you like to admit it or not. It's just a fact of life, and people's circumstances change throughout their life, so maybe the first year they have this new animal that's costing them that much money, they can afford it. And for example, worst case scenario, they get laid off, or something happens to them medically and they just can't financially support this animal. That's a huge deal, and that's something that would be avoided if you don't get them for Christmas. Whew. Okay, the last thing that we're going to cover before moving on to alternatives to buying an animal is simply that animals aren't one size fits all. Dogs, cats, ferrets, hamsters, fish, lizards, snakes, hedgehogs, I don't know, whatever animals you're looking at getting, all have a whole host of different personality traits, care requirements, time invested into the animal, as well as many other factors that can play into their likability from one person to the next. Some people hate reptiles. I personally love them. I understand if somebody doesn't like them. While I try and change their opinion, that's not the point of this video. But, you know, everybody has their own taste as to what they want and what they're looking for in a pet. Some people just want to have a cat that, like, thinks that shit don't stink, for the lack of a better term, versus somebody want to have a dog where they greet them at the front door every day and, I don't know, train them to grab a beer from the fridge or something. That's what you do with dogs, right? Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of goes without saying that everybody has their own personal desires in an animal that they're shopping for, and that should be respected. It's really hard for one person to judge, oh, this person would like that over this because of this. Why not just leave it up to that person? Now, this is just kind of scratching the surface as to reasons to not buy an animal for Christmas, or really as a gift in general. There are a whole host of other reasons why you shouldn't. I'm not going to go into them right now. I feel like this has kind of got the point across that without getting too preachy, I hope. But I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments section, because this is kind of a deviation from any videos I've ever made. So, with that said, why don't we move on to talking about the alternatives to getting an animal as a pet. Let's go. Now we can sit on the couch. Now we can get comfortable and talk a little bit about what you might be wanting to get as an alternative to an animal for a Christmas gift. I would like to be a little bit more festive for this part, lighten the mood a little bit, you know, so here we go. Oh, why don't we get started? The first gift that I'm going to mention is to somebody that's looking for something for a mammal. It applies more to mammals than it does for reptiles. Instead of getting just like a blank tag or something, and instead of just getting like a stuffed animal, I'm going to suggest that you find whatever animal that you're looking for, dog, cat, otherwise, who knows, and find a stuffed animal, buy a collar appropriate for the size of the living animal, and put a blank tag on it. Now this will provide some kind of mystique and some intriguing thought in the mind of a child or the recipient of the gift. It'll give them time to think about names. It'll give them like something tangible to tide them over in the time that they don't have this new animal. It'll also give them time to just be imaginative and really get invested in this new animal that you are researching to bring into the house. Of course, you guys had to know this was coming, but books, okay? Just get some books. As boring, as old school as that might be in this digital age, books are still a great resource for finding information about any animal that you're looking for, whether it be a scarlet macaw or a frilled dragon. Whatever your scope is, there's going to be a book on it, and this will give some time for them to learn about the new animal, to do some research. It'll teach them a little bit about responsibility and how that they should actually be trying to research and understand more about an animal before purchasing said animal. The third gift idea that I'm going to mention is a gift card. As simple as a gift card to a local animal shelter, or to... I prefer not to promote places like PetSmart, Petland, the large kind of company pet stores, or the large like franchise pet stores, just because you could be supporting a shelter or like a mom and pop reptile hobbyist store, or just a rescue foundation, something like that. Look on Facebook, find a local rescue, and get a gift card for there. That way you can support local businesses and local rescues. That's also some reassurance to your child or whoever you're getting this animal for. It's reassurance that it will happen, it just hasn't happened yet. And the fourth one I just kind of thought up of on the spot. I think it'd be really cool to make or like put together a research kit. I'm mostly talking to you parents when I'm saying this, but most of you guys have some idea of what your kid is bouncing off the walls, like a peanut in a boxcar, as my dad used to say, about. There's some animal, a snake, a lizard, a cat, a hedgehog, whatever it might be. Prepare some research kit to go along with it. In that, you can include a book, you can include some small accessories for the given animal that you have researched and you know might be useful. You can include just references and resources for them to look at, pictures, whatever. You guys make it. You guys are probably more creative than I am anyway. I think that's kind of an interesting idea. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And with that said, I'm actually gonna end it here. I really hope this video does not come off as like preachy or like I'm trying to push some agenda. I think it's just responsible, and me as somebody that aspires to be like an animal educator, I think it's really important that people understand and get the message that animals really don't belong as gifts. Animals are just incredible in general, and that's something that I want to promote is ethical keeping and acquiring, I guess, with this video. So it's just something close to me. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope that you like this kind of deviation from reptile talk and more into like the pet tube talk. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this new style, and if you want me to continue doing these kind of different type videos on the channel, not just purely reptile based. I think it's kind of fun. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think about it. Please keep it civil. We don't need, like, especially towards each other. If you're gonna chew me out, I'll read it, whether it stays on the channel or not. That's kind of up to me. So while you guys are down there, make sure you smash that like button if you did in fact enjoy this video. Click that subscribe button as well as the notification bell next to it. That way you get to stay tuned for the future reptile content coming at your faces. So with that said, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and of course a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to those of you that don't celebrate Christmas. I'm gonna get out of your hair, and we'll catch you in the next video. Later!